Thank you for joining us on New Media One. Our special guest today is Bevil Wooden, and he is Chief Knowledge Officer, Congress, WBN. Bevil, you just witnessed the launch of the Cape Digital Media Syllabus in Antigua, and I know you're excited about ICTs, but why should educators use ICTs to impart knowledge to students?
Well, in short, because ICT or information and communication technology literally touches every aspect of life. And if we're talking about educating our students relevantly, then we have to educate them in the use of the tools that make for modern living. And that's where technology comes in. Technology by itself is of little value. Technology in the context of development, in the context of business, in the context of further learning becomes a very powerful tool and a very enabling tool. And so the interest for educators is fairly straightforward. If we're developing people, then we have to use the best tools to ensure that that development is optimized.
Well, earlier you made a great point when you said the teachers need to have the knowledge and we also need the equipment to be in the schools to actually have such a program be successful. How close are we in the region to really getting that part right?
Actually, we're already there. If you consider what's happening across the Caribbean region, you have this very interesting connection between the classroom of the past and the classroom of the future. Training in education or training in technology-based education is always going to require investment in technology. The good thing about that, though, is that there are many different ways to incorporate technology in education. And the way this particular program has been designed, the Cape Digital Media Syllabus, it factors in countries that have limited access to technology, but also allows those that have more access to technology to participate on an equal footing. So students that want to use their cell phones, for example, to take photos, can take photos as legitimately as those who have the capacity to buy expensive, dedicated digital cameras. And so the issue is understanding how the technology allows for content, local content, to be created. And that's where the focus is, not on who has the best tech.
Yes. So creating the content is obviously the next step. I know they say anyone can get a camera and you can go out there and you can create a video as amateurish as it will be. But I know you're excited about mobile app development, which is a little bit more technical. But how can people want to do this, but maybe they don't have access to facilities that really show them how to get this done? What can they do if they want to accomplish this?
Well, they can do several things. You have to understand the importance or the role that the internet plays in new media education. It's very easy to find resources online to do almost anything, to learn stuff. There are free courses and free programs. But the interesting dynamic that we're trying to introduce with this program is content in the Caribbean context. And that's not very easy to find online. And the good thing about it is that nobody can tell a Caribbean person what is Caribbean content or what it isn't. So that definition is a living, evolving, dynamic definition that our youngsters have the ability to create. Once educators understand this and once the students understand that they actually can shape the Caribbean definition of content, then it liberates them to explore and it liberates them to create and it liberates them to innovate. Because then they can look at the circumstances as opportunities. Just as we're seeing and hearing, like, for example, in Africa, where great use is made of SMS technology. They don't use WhatsApp like we do or BBM like we do here as much as they do text. And they've made that work for them. And we're seeing that similar creative use of available local resources will allow us to do what we need.
Well, great points. And for your part, you have had a chance to witness the GATE program in Antigua. I mean, I know there are many facets, obviously, to GATE, but what are your thoughts, initial thoughts on this whole program?
I think it's an excellent initiative, but I also see it as a seed. It's not the end. And I celebrate the fact that we have started GATE. I celebrate the fact that we have a facility that allows for young people to come in and be trained and to be mentored. But I also understand that there are different aspects or dimensions of what the healthy, full system needs to be that are still not complete. And I think that's an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity to engage the private sector, for example, in a whole new way in terms of mentoring and internship and incubating startups. So people get trained and excited here in GATE, but then they know that there is there they can go to practice their skill and to hone their craft. And I think those kinds of partnerships between the training center, the private sector, the public service, for example, where there are many opportunities and great needs for technology-based solutions to make life easier to deliver government services, that these create wonderful new possibilities for synergy. But it will only remain possibilities unless we take active steps now to make those connections. And I hear and I believe that that is exactly what's happening now. The government is taking an interest in the development of local apps to deal with the improvement of government services. The private sector needs to be engaged in a whole new way, not from a technology standpoint, but from a business competitiveness standpoint. And I think these are very important conversations or debates to have. And the more conversations we have about it, the clearer it becomes as to exactly what needs to be done and who needs to make it happen.
Well, thank you for talking with us here at New Media One, Bevil Wooden. We've been talking to our special guest today, Bevil Wooden, Chief Knowledge Officer, Congress, WBN. See you next time on New Media One.